三界车道车人中南华将就把路单给开启成大给去世界的送来多了别家三界诸把说三界车道车人中南华将就把路单给开启大给去世界的送来多了别家三界诸把说大呀他嘎杰嘎杰巴拉嘎杰巴拉松嘎杰波迪说大呀他嘎杰嘎杰巴拉嘎杰巴拉松嘎杰波迪说大呀他嘎杰嘎杰巴拉嘎杰巴拉松嘎杰波迪说他甚至他们这个都托着了那么就把三界公办人不就进来叫托把讲第一觉得讲就是没拉讲的出现两个人让我来写过托过来都是说嘛那我这个那你告诉我的拉这个兄弟们也上讲
So let's set our motivation as we normally do. Our motivation to attain the state of enlightenment in order to be of benefit to all living beings. And in order to attain that state, we know we have to perfect all the trainings on the bodhisattva path. To perfect those trainings, we need to have a very, very good understanding of what they entail. And to gain this understanding, we need to be able to rely on a dependable, unmistaken text and presentation. And so it is with this in mind that we are here this morning to hear a teaching from the Graduated Path to Enlightenment series of teachings. The Shokrang and Gyatang Shipchushanga, so Gila de la Du, Tayang, Dajegi Domba Dini, so the 남준 내신체는 어느 초신 되게 셋업 소신 셋업 어느 초신 셋업에 딱 간제 소신 셋업 제가 간제 라마투베 공부 세다 대두가를 위해서 주다는 대조소다 남의 지라주베 아마 다 저와도 전에 좀 하기면 지라주베 라마자 아니 얘를 위한 상담다 주자주 길라만남 대샵자라는 가서도 가담게 아니 가서도 그래서 주가 숨 라마티게 되네 뒤에서 정말 라마로 상담을 주고 당그 뒤에 자외 라마텔 주로모도 라마 되네 마치면 가서도 다 주디식을 하죠 나도 보았대네 산제 장세포 간도 대소 자주 보다 되는 같이 소신 마상하면 가지고 삼삼체 어떻게 And as usual also we set up the merit field in our visualization, the space in front with the central figure of Guru Manindra, the Buddha, and then surrounded by all the other members of the merit field, beginning with the consecrated practices lineages behind, stretching up at the head of which is Vajradhara, and then on the left and right the lineages of the extensive practices and the profound view lineage headed by Maitreya and Manjushri respectively. And below them on both sides then we have the three different schools of the Kadampa lineages, and below again then the Guruk lineage at the center of which is Rinpoche Lama Tsongkhapa. Also then just at the feet of the throne of the main figure in the front is all of our own teachers, those who we have received teachings from directly, at the center of which is our root guru. And close by them are the four different classes of the tantric lineages, then all the Buddhas of the fortunate eon, the 1,000 Buddhas, 35 Buddhas, etc., the great bodhisattvas, and then the Shravakas and Pratika Buddhas, the Arhats, and then the Dakas, Dakinis, and the Dharma protectors. And just to have the image, the certainty that all members of the merit field are present without exception.
아니 내가 초신 되게들 다 간제 남주 저 초신 나로 다 간제 저 야라도 멘테다 저 초사 집장지에 아니 다가 이제 순대지에 아니 장부 심제 라소마 되게 되는 아니 순대지에 아니 어다 되게 되는 다 간제 아니 초신 되게 수뒤 초신 되게 수뒤제 다 가서 말아도 저거서 냠솔라니까 똑같게 보고 요가 인사 아니 그래서
가서다 균에다 가서다 간제 이나마 때베다 또 마샤자 도바네 저 마주베다 간제 유바 바마체 바치기다 아니 규에 되게 내가다 때바 질람다 때바 저 고유 바인사 아니 라기 규규에 쳐 어디가 소신대도 세다 워드르점 아니 소사 집장체 안 소사 집장체 안 소신대가 야 찍라 찍된 거야 뒤잖아 아니 내가 조조수마대가 찍라 찍된 야 제잖아 되게 가기 진짜 자외 라마 하지 아니 예용게 딱 가서도 정말 너무 종가 받치고 규바 되게 돼 찍라 찍된 야자 상마다주도 자지 주주는 잠자야니라 팁 아니 근데 이게 나는 질라 주고 라마대 찍라 찍된 거 야자는 아니 자도 자자 라마가 미대야 아니 좀 뒤주 여와이나 아니 들라 가서대야 가서대 야가도 메테대 잡아 피고 순접제 아니 근데 아니 가서대 이게 도지 창대 아니 가서 이게 초심 做 라마 통화도 참 라마 그다까지 라마 샤자 라마 통화도 참 파티 아니 얘는 잠자는데 라마 통화도 참 진짜 자 라마 뒤에 아니 가서대 다까지 라마 샤자 생겨도 라마 샤자 생겨대 아니 야군지 단계 다까지 집도 군이 너무 룩선 다까지 그 다지 교수님 산자 탐지가 다니지 와서 어때 좀 어떻게
So then, having generated the merit fields, then we complete that really by making offerings of the 7-limb practice and mandala offering. Because of course the refuge field or the merit field is very much there to enable us to engage in the practices of accumulation of merit and the purification of negativities. Both very essential for what is indeed purpose, is in order to gain realizations. And so this is the purpose of the merit field, to provide that basis for both purification and accumulation. And so with that then, we, so as we said, make the offerings of the 7-limb practice, the mandala, going for refuge, and generating bodhicitta, making powerful supplications and so on to the merit field, in order to avail of the essential instructions necessary for us, the blessings that we very much need to maintain the stability of our practice, etc. And so this then is all prior to now the dissolution of the merit field, and so that begins again from below with the Dharma protectors dissolving into the Dakas, Dakinis, in turn dissolving into the layers of the merit field above them. And then that all of those lower parts of the merit field dissolve ultimately into the grouping of our own teachers, and then eventually into our own root guru, who is the last remaining figure of that section of the merit field. And then on the left and right, the different groupings of the Geluk lineage masters and the different schools of the Kadampa lineages dissolve upwards into, and including with the groupings of the extensive practices lineage and the profound view lineage, into the heads of those lineages, namely the Maitreya and Manjushri. And so, and then the consecrated practices lineage dissolve in an upwards direction to reach the head of that lineage, Vajradhara. So that now we are left with the 5 main figures of the merit field, being the central figure of Guru Munindra, Vajradhara, Maitreya, Manjushri, Vajradhara, and our own Guru. And so then again, if time permits, we can again focus there and offer the 7-limb practice with mandala, making powerful supplications, entreating these Buddhas and Gurus to give their blessing for our practice. And so then we begin the final dissolution with the figure of Vajradhara dissolving into the crown of the central figure of Guru Munindra Vajradhara. Then the figures on the left and right, Maitreya and Manjushri, also dissolving into the central figure. And finally our own Guru rising to the heart center of Guru Munindra Vajradhara and dissolving within. And so then we are left with the last remaining single figure of Guru Munindra Vajradhara, whom we recognize as the embodiment of all Buddhas.
what did the check order? Takanja, what did the church and Takanja to social set that what did check. And the Rangi Chivola, Pama the Nimet, Dawe Denche, and Takanja, what that de la and because of saw Putus of Debbie, saw Putus of Debt. Saw Putus then the Takanja, now because the Jammu Lamalai has what is saw Putus step. And then and the Rangi Chivo, Pama the Nimat, Dawe Dento, and the because of the Takanja. Jammu Kudugata, because I love to want to chance Jenta, and Rangichi, but it's a love to do a Puzu, the Dawi was never to show. So that them, Sanjay Kumato, the chess, and the Yala to maintain that you put the
Now we begin the process of inviting the main figure, the last remaining figure of the merit field, Guru Muninja Bajadara, to our crown. This begins with preparing a seat on our crown of a lotus, sun and moon disc mandala, then making the stake-like prayer of supplication, which begins, my most divine Guru, Lord of the four Kayas, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara, etc. And then we make that invitation prayer. O glorious and precious Guru, come take your lotus and moon seat placed here on my crown. Keep me safe in your kindness. Bestow on me the attainments of your body, speech, and mind. This is recited 3 times. At the end of the first recitation, the figure begins that journey from the space in front to our crown. With the second, at the end of the second recitation, the figure has seated themselves on our seat. And with the third, we feel that they will remain steadfast there until we ourselves attain the state of enlightenment. And at that point, we again automatically make the offering of the 7-limb prayer and the mandala offering.
And the negative, that is to heart of Joy. When a Jantan Tawa to Market Subject Tamja Water, Tanam what they commercial. That did the Jebakala, understood that Ranchugo, my retire Market Subject Tamja, Namdo, and then Joanna and a Rangi Luya, Lupato Maba Tuni. What did the chair? What did the student? Takaja, Tata, what the Kawakazella and the Kawalanjo Kankagi, and then Lu, that Namdo Tuchen. Weber Checha, Namdo, and Tawa, the Market Subject Tamja, Massa never use something. What did the chair? What did the chair? And then Chuba Pua Latena, and then because Tata was what Tata Casade. Lamatua to a child to you, they were don't but they don't use me, she gives some. What did the chair get me? But what did the chair?
And so then, of course, we also complete the intro here by reminding us that we should be also visualizing that we are surrounded by all other sentient beings, and that we, together with those sentient beings, are making these supplications to the Guru on our crown. If possible, also we can visualize that we emanate, from our own selves, countless bodies of our own previous existences, our own previous lives, to make those supplications simultaneously, and make the offerings simultaneously as well with all sentient beings. And as a result of our heartfelt supplication and offering, the Guru Munindra Vajradhara on our crown experiences a sense of bliss, which is combined with voidness and abides in the wisdom of non-dual bliss and voidness.
What is it? What is it? I'm a cousin was so that the Tewa Chambuki and the Lamam Solanda Koto. You didn't have to go and Jaju the same case with the Tashin Jack and the same case with me. That what the that and the Tashin Jack and the same case with me. That she was a chatera, what it is.
And so we have been discussing the Mahayana vehicle teachings, the entrance to which is the development of the mind of enlightenment, bodhicitta. We have discovered, looked at 2 different methods or sets of instructions for the generation of that mind, the 7 cause and effect instruction, which we have completed, and the equalizing and exchange of self and other instructions, which we have in most, to a great deal, dealt with also.
다 가져제 제발 놓고 요리네 제진이 제발 놓 제진이 제발 놓 what in the chat.
And so we've discovered that within the second method of the equalizing and exchange of self and others, that the actual key point here is the exchange of the minds of cherishing. In other words, that by seeing the faults of self-cherishing in all of their different guises, and by contemplating the great qualities, good qualities of exchanging others, again in many different ways, that we exchange those two cherishing minds to cherish others, and looking and disregard the importance of ourselves.
지난 말아도 가서데 최지고에데 아니 디기기 체도 지고요. 대화 두배 체도 최지고요. 그래서 세 최지고 중세 용어를 봐. 대화 두배 체도. 다 대화 두배 체도 최지고요도 아니 대화도 건데스 주고도 다랑 개체버스나 대화 연구도 연구면도 이 대외 요차기도 처음에도 안 딜레 탑시 샤바지 누가 민도 맞다 됐다고 요새래.
And so it's important for us to approach this in a logical fashion as well. And fundamentally, that we engage in a spiritual path, in spiritual practice, in order to gain happiness. That's the purpose here. And so here, it really is necessary to pose the question, is an attitude where I consider myself to be so important, is that bringing me happiness? Is my own self-cherishing attitude bringing me happiness? Or is happiness comes from some other means? Is there another way of looking at the world, another attitude I should adopt that would bring happiness? Because that's essentially what it boils down to. I need happiness.
되게 라라 대와 딩켜와저 라도에 라면도 라도에 라모다 세들라 쳐샤바이나 랑게 쳐보지 대저도 아니 여기다 가리 용것도 맨날 조금 나라 임바이나 랑게 쳐보지 온데 아니 맞아봐 차에 용되겠지 용되기도.
So then this you need to ask hard questions here. So since beginningless time, adopting an attitude where I really consider myself to be all-important, has that resulted in happiness and in bliss for me? Is that evident? Even in this life, when I look at progressing with an attitude that considers myself and what I think and what I want to be all-important, is that conducive to happiness? Or has it resulted in a great deal of conflict in my life? Has it resulted in a falling out with many friends that I've had along the way? And so these are the kind of questions we need to answer honestly.
얘나야 14부터 따와 얘나 랑 개첨부 쓰여디 아니 랑라 동에 뭐 용되지 동에 뭐 용되지 배나 차차와 얘나 지금 가서도 배나 저거 좀에 빨아 임바이네 당고 저거 좀 찍지를 가운데 아니 파줘도 배 깨리 하고 제원도 지난디 장주가 셈다 된데기 계제다 말에 얘나야 그 직된 게 도단도 투배던 파줘 깨리 제원도 가서도 저 도나 팬도 제원도 아니 직접 셈 예보차도 다 딕사도 간장소다 마차마차데 가르쳐 아니 소소 개첨보다 숙제다 체도 좋은데 아니 마차마다 숙제다 체도 좋도 와 셈으로 와 때문에 뭐 줘야도 와.
So I believe that if we really, analyze the situation and we look at it in a more detailed way, we will see how inconducive the attitude of self-cherishing, of considering my own stuff to be all important, how inconducive that is to leading a happy life, and so on. Like we look at, say, for example, friendships that we've had at the beginning, where we've seen maybe that we've had a lot in common. It's easy to gain a closeness there. and that. But this is not sort of like friendships in the context of the bodhisattva ideal, for example. Here, it's a very worldly way of attracting or engaging in exchanging with friends. And so that as long as there's a mutual benefit there, yes, we have this sense of closeness and commonality. But when we kind of start to diverge in our interests and where there's not benefit forthcoming, and then the self-cherishing aspect of that worldly connection comes to the fore. And then we start to see how, I am not getting my purpose fulfilled. I'm not getting what I want out of this relationship. And so there's a distance and a parting that's going to happen because of that.
아니 what 용도 왔다 가져 셈 파존의 셈 띵네 아니 니에데 줘야지 용어 되게 도와 이나 단데 가서 새 토보게 아니 가서 대 말이 돼 이나 양 배는 나라조가 쯤에 나라조가 내다라 바베게 되게 용어 되고 다새 토보게 새 지금 가서 동해게 나와라 미쇠베게 다 미쇠베게 다 제발스인데 미세베 제발스인데 아니 거지게 제발스인데 아니 디고 숙체다 체다 조ጆ이 받다 거다 줘봐라 어디서
And so that when we have as a fundamental practice the holding the importance of other to be really essential, then when there is any disagreement or no kind of meeting of our interests, that is not seen as a cause for distance or for separation, but because we consider their interests, their selves to be more important, that our relationship with them must become closer and closer and closer. And so this is not necessarily, the action of somebody from a very, very noble action, from a very high spiritual attainment position, but rather, it's kind of really recognizing how, sentient beings in general are tormented by suffering, and really having absorbed that into our own life view, our life attitude. And so we have a context for which to maintain a sense of closeness with others and to avoid any rift taking place.
제도다 심지어 시야 수입이나 야 대화 되지 동네 메디어 받대 봐 가서 다 가자 랑체줘요 봐 또 랑신 차대요 봐이 랑신 차대도 아니 이 대화 되지 동네 메디어 봐 인사 아니 디 좀자도 전에 아니 가서 닝지기에 안딜라 편바 주비에 동네 셋업지에 대화 줍답지에 다 제거돼 개침을 차샤서 그거 어떻다.
And so we understand that, for us, it's quite essential to be able to, on the one hand, experience the happiness that we want and to avoid the suffering that we don't want. There's no need to elaborate on this. Now, having accepted that, we must also accept that for others, it's exactly the same. They want happiness, and they don't want suffering. And this is something that is a natural ambition, a natural birthright for all others. And for that very reason, for that reasoning alone, we have to work towards establishing that happiness for sentient beings and to help them avoid the suffering that they don't want. That should be enough.
아니 top-down 요바데 지금 얘기했지. top-down 요바데 지금 얘기했지. 어디서
And likewise, in terms of rights to happiness and rights to avoid suffering, of course, we are all equal in that regard. In other words, sentient beings have just as much right to happiness and to avoid suffering as we have. And so for that reason, then we work to establish happiness for others. We work to help others to avoid suffering, to be separated from suffering. And the compassion that arises from that reasoning is a quality compassion. It's genuine and sincere. And it will reach the point, at one point, when another will harm us, but we will not retaliate, but we will automatically see it in the context that others want happiness, that other wants to avoid suffering, and so we will be able to respond with patience and appropriately in that sense. Whereas, as we well know, when we are dominated by a self-cherishing outlook, when somebody else harms us, then we immediately react with revenge and so on.
쇼게 닝제 계사지네 권다게 콘도스 가사데 노바 계사 차에데 가르자는 차고여서나 나라족에 닝제 계데 랑게 녜이베 좀자 랑다 대화야 보이베 좀 생게 닝제 계데 요봐 안디 닝제데 어거 차요 딱가자 가사데 심제 탐제를 계게 아니 차 당겨요 맞다 차 당기면 도와 차 당기면 심제 찍이 바이네 뒤주기 켜바게 아니 쇼게 닝지 계사처럼 권다 녀바 계사 차대도 권다 그 닝지가 유지 당금에 받는 지 차대요 봐.
And so, because in the morning we may generate compassion, but that compassion may turn to anger by the evening or the afternoon. And that why is this? You know, it's not that the generation of our compassion is a bad thing. But that it doesn't cover all sentient beings. There's a discriminating quality in it. We have compassion for those who really are good to us, who we have a feeling of closeness to. But we are in a point of really discriminating. We do not take into account all the sentient beings and a reasoning that covers all sentient beings. That's why our compassion is more fragile. And can transform or change quickly into anger. So that same person that we may have compassion towards in the morning can give rise to anger for us in the evening. And so that's why we need to have a policy that overcomes that short-sighted, discriminating kind of attitude.
rangi pugu yinbe, rangi pama yinbe, chobu yinbe, jumse dendegi kala ane ningji ketege, ane dile shimbala sha keba duge. Keba yinba yina yang, sosola ane chiga nyoba kesona, ane ningji de dema duge. Dile chaya dege karchan chigo yorosana, mazu ningji de ane rang jenzengu ongi ketege dila di chaga yorwa. Chadege duwa, wadi chadege duwa, odele. Tenza rang jenzen ke ane kyende kotumane samlotan what is it?
So this may be our own child, it may be our partner, it may be some particular friend that we have a sense of closeness, loving kindness, compassion, etc. towards them, but when they change or want to harm us, that compassion is nowhere to be seen. And it's replaced by an anger. And so this shows us how limited is our sense of compassion. that it's very much mixed with and it is contaminated with the self-cherishing attitude. And so this is what really limits our ability to maintain that sense of compassion regardless of what the situation is. Therefore, we need to really continuously look at the myriad faults that are connected with the attitude of self-cherishing.
Rancheba Zebaina, Daka, Tedile, and Magiba, Shukcha, Sechima Penja, and Yazon Mutameba Gig, Lenny Basada, Ranches on the Sati, Ranches on the Sati. That the day by Yeza, the day by Yeza, Daka Judge, the Jujuna, so the mother shared that she should get a Mabushia by your body, Tuba Sanja Jomden, and Shencheba Simala Teneta, Yanda was Sanja Kumatoba, Naru Chiba Tamewata. Tomaman Dada was the Java said, but Neda did it hard to us. Dilaten and say what how good was what if Daka Judge what did it?
And so really that this attitude of self-cherishing creates misery for us, not just in this life, but of course because of the negativities that are accumulated, motivated by that mind, we are condemning ourselves to a kind of a source of deterioration and suffering in future lives also. And so it is really a very, very detrimental attitude to maintain, and we need to see this as clearly as possible. Again, Master Shantideva points it out very, very clearly when he says, what need is there to say much more? The childish work for their own benefit, the Buddha's work for the benefit of others. Just look at the difference between them.
Tatia, Tajago Tomba Dini, Moy Chimda Asa Zabu Muju, Ranji, Mayuko, Dobe, CBS, and Naminji, Niseo, Nawalian, call a charge of Kolokona, or the Tamaja, Tomachaja to buy, and Narsama Jeva Kola, Takaja, Sama Jeva Konatan, and Dagaji Kasode, and the Red Takaja Kasode, and Chikasode, Takaja. Lenny Bassa, and Chick Casade, Niseve, Nawali Keva Yinaya, and ya, Chicaso de they give it, young Pepper Samlo Chicken. Rotaka, Nalatunga didn't know, and she didn't she Lenny Bassa, Kanka, and to get the Nalami Basho, get the Quacho, Takaja don't let me but one. I didn't hear you say, Casa, tell me Basho, kitchen you let the net sepon and Chicaso de Takaja. Casode, and then Casode, and then Casode, Tori the get to it. Tori the get to it today. What I'm not that to be, what did it?
And so the story of the one of the previous lives of the Buddha prior to the Buddha becoming enlightened, he was born as the daughter of the householder Misra, and had struck her mother in the head, and as a ripening result of that was reborn in an occasional hell with an iron wheel attached to her head. But immediately on arriving there, she had this beneficial mindset of using the taking and giving practice of saying, all those sentient beings who have similar ripened result from striking their mother, may their suffering all ripen upon thee right now. And with that, immediately this iron wheel flew into the sky, and the girl took a higher rebirth as a result of that.
当这个sem间的配备上路当对错了就不修啥着了，错了就不是刚才sem间的，可是当这有开发这类多，有开发这类多。但这一般是就那说也对的，三界国马套了，这个sem间当，三界你的你不两百的是，现在我是三界了，国马几个都sem间了，通州几个都可以去路的是。
And so this is, of course, showing that when we really take on the attitude wishing to be of benefit to sentient beings, automatically, if it's sincere, automatically accumulates a tremendous great deal of positive merit. And because the reason this is because the object of sentient beings is regarded as an extraordinarily special object to be able to direct our benefit towards. Again, Master Shantideva points this out. He said, to attain a state of enlightenment, we rely on the Buddha and his teachings and on sentient beings. And they are of equal importance. Why then do we show so much respect to the Buddha but disparage sentient beings? What kind of spiritual tradition is that?
사야 통해 이만 미망보체 칼레자 미망보 심제 망보체 소치 심제 망보 칼레자 용되기도 와. 쇼가 브레파스트 란 지나다 강가다 아니 고에 통해 다 녀다 통제 강가 랑 주고 깨 용하면도 와. 나라도 류네 용해 그거 라베실다 유에도 타임도 와. 강가 심제 지나되는 초보도 와. 근데 내가 찾아봐 이래. 과거에 내가 찾아봐. 다 아니 다가는 이제 개와 치매 치마 배제 때 성불 내고 간가 아니 지금 추진송 쇠바검 지바당 아니 지금 대대적인 연구도 와. 그때대적 산 연구다. 되면은 용다 코라민도 와. 용다 코라민도 와. 다들 아니 되게 강가 대대적인 연구도. 아니 타바다 탐제 잡아 도발하는 아니 지금 다 로다 타바다 탐제 잡아 도발하는 아니 지금 추진 시순거래 아니 땡에서 공거래 아니 지금 가서다 단간제 지금 셰럽이 냠내 지구래 아니 탐제 개발 도반의 진소 파제로는 되게 강가심제가 되는 연구도 와. 그러나 다 심제스도 문에는 이 신근 노블을 하가래 소에 데려왔다. 이 신근 노블을 나가 이 신근 노블이 아니 미스들을 지금 제도를 해봐도 치마 편제를 가야 제도고 말아. 타바도 탐제 개발 고마 두고 주베겠다. 때투에겠다. 누가 요거 있다. 이 신근 노블을 하가래 소에 금세 데려와.
And again, just to really emphasize the true, not just the importance of sentient beings, but how absolutely essential the sentient beings are to any kind of temporary benefit for us, let alone any ultimate benefit. So even say in this life, we cast our minds back, or cast our mind into contemplating. You know, where does our food come from? Where does our drink come from? Anything we eat, anything we drink, where we stay, the very bed that we sleep in, and indeed any sort of activity that we engage in, we are beholding to sentient beings in one way or another who have gone through tremendous hardship and effort to provide this, or even at the cost of their lives have provided these facilities for us now. Yet, even from our own side, all our own body produces is simply waste, which we try to get rid of. And so, in this life, we can see that for our very survival and for the way in which we can thrive, we should be absolutely thankful to all the sentient beings who do so much. And then also in terms of future lives, we see how do we accumulate the necessary positive merit to enable us to take a positive rebirth in the future. And that can be only gained through acts of generosity, patience, ethical conduct, and so on. And all of these actions then are directed towards sentient beings. They must be part of that equation in order to generate that merit. So they are absolutely essential. And then ultimately, when it comes to the attainment of liberation, the omniscient state of enlightenment, our capacity to be able to engage in any kind of practice like meditation, the development of wisdom, the engaging in the six perfections and so on, all require the assistance of sentient beings. And so this is why in the mind training texts that sentient beings are described as even greater than a wish-granting jewel. And so this is how precious sentient beings are regarded, that we absolutely need sentient beings, and we need them to be able to progress on our spiritual path. And so they are absolutely priceless, and that's the way we should see them. And so that regardless of the direct benefit that sentient beings bring to us, even when they harm us, that we can use that situation for a benefit through our not reacting angrily, not allowing the mental afflictions to arise in that situation, but enhancing our practice of patience. We can see that even when harming, then sentient beings are a benefit to us. And so the fact that we find ourselves surrounded by attractive, genial, and pleasant people is a result, a direct, ripened result of the practice of patience. And that practice of patience is developed through our being able to not allow the mental afflictions to take control when we are facing harm from another. And that is actually the practice of patience. So we can see the direct results of such a practice, again, the benefits of which we can lay at the hands of, at the feet of our sentient beings.
Yeah, 먼저 patience를 점점 넓혀라. patience를 가르치는 제주 드네 계자 말다. patience도 마지막도나 코로나 문제를 펴봐도나 마지막 레스 팔라 두겠지. 뒤에 뒤줄을 때네. 근데 다가는 이제 랑 컨디션도 만족해. 그 patience는 가르치는 제주 어쨌든 게 돕자 말을 삼자. 이 말이 patience인데 랑 컨디션도 맞춰봤지. 아니 컨디션 계획 잡라 들 니지 계도에. 지금 어딱 루아 어디를 제도했지. 어디를 제도. 그래서 뒤에서 난기 계좌에만 야 치료라 가서도 딱한자지 가서도 서바 검수도 아니 가리전에 제주자 아니 셈마기를 대대는 서바 차고야 말. 서바서도 셈마기부터 많이 왔지.
So here it's important to clarify what patience is and what patience is not. Patience is not simply allowing oneself to kind of like to be harmed and not reacting at all, just taking all the punishment and seemingly just not reacting at all. And so here we must clarify that patience is not in that case, because in a situation like that, we may externally seem like we're not reacting to being harmed or beaten, but internally we have a mind which is seething and very upset. That has nothing got to do with patience at all. Patience is the act of not allowing ourselves to fall under the control of anger in the face of harm. And that this does not disallow us from being able to see what's incorrect in the other one's behavior and pointing out that, telling them what's incorrect in regards to their behavior, and to do so skillfully at the right time. But it allows us to be proactive, and that patience is when we completely are able to act without any degree of anger at all, but rather that anger is replaced by a mind of compassion.
먼저 patience and 파 주두자 라 두자 제소나 파 파 레마로 전 나로 먹기 버던 게 되는 패션 고민이 사죠. 다들 거로 사대는. 가서 이제 저만 고급 전에 가는 제식으로 봐.
Yeah. So we do not consider that appearance of patience to be patience where somebody is harming us and we simply don't reply, we don't make an answer, we just stay completely stumped and not say anything. But inside we're seething and we're actually just waiting for an opportunity to get back in. That's not patience.
Because patience is the mental quality. Right.
So as Gana said, yeah, patience is an internal mental quality.
What did it? That is matter. Some Palle Malo was a patient is the because some so because a lega turned out and a chicken dollar and a boss because it took a lava in a Palle Malo because Lega Shorga and a Jema can't take it and now Kondo Sati Yorba. Kondo Sati the
So this kind of fake patience might be evident in a work situation, where your boss is constantly haranguing you, criticizing you, and so on, and you are not, you're just staying quiet. You're not saying anything because you might fear that you lose your job and you'll have problems later on. But inside, you're just burning up. You're very angry. And then you're thinking, I'll get my opportunity later on.
Because patient patient second Kasana and run no more Shamato Majuba. And it never kick tella and Nijiki cook up your ticket. Wow.
So patience is really diametrically opposite to that attitude, because on the one hand, patience is of course not allowing the mental afflictions to get a foothold in one's mind, in one's thinking at all, but rather patience is looking for an opportunity. What is that? Is looking for an opportunity to benefit the one who is harming. By on the basis of developing compassion for their action.
And how do what the Chanta Kanje so gay and Peju Tangshibaina, Peju Tangshibaina, sending a never about the social perpetual troticatwa. Perpetual troticatwa. What Casa Serva second day, Shang never care about the social Gucci Chateau. Gucci Chateau.
And so in a situation like that, if we can make use of that situation, so we turn the harm of the other into a benefit for all. And because actually, what enhances patience, what grows patience, is the cause for patience, is the how we respond skillfully to harm from another.
What did it? That the Inza, the subjects that she would get. That subjects are so this lavina, and then run it till you bet under Tomo Pama Pinja, and then you get some detone you may detone around you again, and then Pame subject, Jebe, Taibe, Market subject Tamje. Kaja, try you get it. They want to let me do a try you think it. Think of some jerwa. Think of some jerwa.
And so when we're using this term, sentient beings, but what does that mean? What does that entail? The sentient beings are the ones who are right next to you, your friends, your parents, your family, your relatives, those who you associate with on a daily basis. Then when they are also those who we are uncomfortable with, who maybe we are unhappy when we are in their company. Maybe they are unhappy when they're in our company. And those who are neutral. And then we can spread that out into including all sentient beings in that term. But it must be tangible for us. The object of our practice are those who are close and dear to us.
다 냠내지다데 타입에 막에 심제 탐자를 펴버죠. 타입에 막에 심제 탐자를 펴버죠. 고데 랑게 티나 요반에 쭈고요. 랑게 티나 요발라 tonaske mebache and the Nomun Kesa sort of sha and the Taiba Magan Simja Tamches, Lab Devaina, Tata Sikton Basor Chavra. The practical Jesati, Rang Tina Yovaneta Chesari.
And so when we enter the Mahayana vehicle teachings, the object of those practices are countless sentient beings. And that's where do they begin? They begin with the sentient beings that are right next to you, who you associate with on a daily basis. And that if we, are nasty to them, if we are, constantly engaging in negative, detrimental activities with them and towards them, and yet we have this lofty idea in our heads when we pray, for the benefit of all sentient beings, that of course is simply empty words, meaningless words, and that the object is all sentient beings. The practical application of that aspiration is how we behave towards the sentient beings who are right next to us.
Dia Nima Chigni Yabu Penman, Mutune, Nima Chigni Yabuja, and then Mutune.
So what we are trying to establish here is not also just a once-off kind of good day of benefit for other sentient beings, but rather to be able to develop a continuous attitude of mind that goes on steadily throughout our lives.
Because Dila Yabuche, so Yamley, and the Dunda Demba Chagito Samsa. That the nature and college like high make a joke. That Chamasin, that too much the letter of Javaina, and can't check it, and the gentleman, and then no more Gugama.
So what we need to understand is kind of what is underpinning this attitude. Here it's a sense of how it is our practice, our life's practice. And this is what makes life meaningful. And so that's a very important consideration. And so that allows us to be able to maintain a steady approach and attitude continuously. And it becomes something natural for us and not a hassle. Because when we are engaging in virtue, but it becomes a hassle, we find ourselves exhausted at some point by doing so. That is simply allowing the door to the mental afflictions to open, and it leaves us vulnerable in a situation like that.
Pena Chashavina, Maranzo Sosoge, Pena Tulok, Sa Tung Javaina, and the Bejutan, and the end of Zoberta. Sim round the Utah de Simja Shella Pena Chupavakas Javana, Titu Shenda Mitari. Shenda Mitari. And the Kandachi Yabu Javana, Kato de Lata, Pejabu, Tonda Maton Nazore, the Ginger marking a Simja Yibayinza, and the Yukabache Yibayinza, Delatene, Rala, Mahobala, Mutu the Jebusabu Yonde, that Koloya, which are Tabat Tavecheto, Tamjaba Tavecheto, the next shed the Javana, that the Guru to a Shem Hovache. Do you remember Yinaya, Kulon Kaya Mebeton the Java in the Ginger marking a Simja Yibayinza? Mutu the social digi Gulu Totage. That Rangi Peju Tawayina, because of Peju Taya Jueti, less a bullet than a Juare, and the entry. In a deep Peju Tane, and Kiawaji took to I never Nezu Logarim, the Margin entry. Shella Jimba the Tayabachado, that the got also Shebeton the Java, and she, when a shell of pepper to it, what Tona Kejugua. The Jebu Machiba in Tona Yoman, Rangi Peju Tana or Capsan Raso, Shella Jibana, John Raso, something Todavayina. The Jundig Namja Mashibatarwa.
So, like, say, for example, we take an item of clothing, or food, or drink, or any other material item, and that when we make use of that for ourselves, that is the beginning and the end of it. The clothes wear out, the food is consumed, that's it, and so that's at the end of it. If we give to others, if we give that item of clothing, the food, drink, whatever, to others, that it has a much more meaningful result. Not only because the object of sentient beings is a special object, but we will be able to enjoy the fruits of that act of generosity continuously for a long time thereafter. And that here, of course, it's often spoken about that we do so with special motivation of having the mind of enlightenment motivation, or the motivation to attain liberation from cyclic existence, etc. But even without that motivation, without any special motivation at all, because sentient beings are considered to be a special object of virtue, that when we are generous, when we engage in an act of generosity towards sentient beings, that the happiness for us in the future will be continuous. And so this is a very, very important distinction to make, and that this overcomes the idea that I use the resources I have for myself, and that will be good for me. Yes, it will, but it is the resources you have are the result of the positive merit that you accumulated in the past, and by using them for yourself, you are now exhausting that merit, and that will be the single use of those items, and that will be the end of it. Whereas, and so if we have the attitude that, if I give my stuff away, that's a loss to me, that's some sort of detrimental thing to do for me. So we need to get over this attitude, and that to understand that karmically speaking, it's far more skillful, far more beneficial to be generous to others for our own happiness in the future.
아니 뭐 처음에 돈에 아니 그 라렌잖아 아니 지금 문에 전에 지금 가서데 지금 편바 주변라 쪼아게 돼 용구로 쪼아게 해야 되겠지.
With an understanding of the law of cause and effect, the kind of vast infinity of the law of cause and effect in a way, and that when we have understood that and can really embed our practice in that understanding, then acts of benefit for us will produce joy, delight. We will be incredibly inspired and delighted to engage in beneficial acts towards others.
다는 거죠. 누가 당게 말해. 당게 말해 때 타입에 맞게 심지 탐자 팬토도에 유디 좀 그래. 그래서 죽고서는 단 소소 파마 빈자 조고 디게라 먼저 패바 주원데 진짜 맞게 심지 다른 게 레게 제가 온 게 조고 전에 일려버려. 게 사산 전에 일려버려. 게 파마 전에 일려버려. 게 부고 전에 일려버려. 게 조고 전에 일려버려. 다른 게들 패바 주 가는 구갑지 좋아해. 다른 게때 패바 주반에 이제 마음을 심지 탐자는 게 되는지 패바 좀 도와줘. 교류 좋아줘. 내 다른 패바 산생게 패바 주고 요때 이 마음을 게 최고 패바 주에 교류 좋아줘. 어때 내가 제발은 아니 심지 탐자라 패바 주투에 유대 먼저 팬 토에 민중시에 때는 주투고 도와.
So that it really is necessary for us to do the best that we can. To take the opportunities that we have to be able to engage in benefit like this. And of course, it's understood that it seems that we have limitations in how beneficial we can be. But here we can do a great deal more with the opportunities that are presented to us on a day-to-day basis. And this is especially in the context of those who are engaging in the mind training related to the Mahayana ideal. And here, of course, we try to imbue all our actions with the bodhicitta motivation. And this is very, very important. And that, even though we try to, in that motivation, the objective is to be a benefit to all sentient beings. Here, it's clear that we can't do that directly. We haven't got the capacity to do that directly. But we can substitute the benefit, the sentient beings that we do associate with on a daily basis, our parents, our friends, those who are close to us, our work companions, etc., etc., and to engage in the Mahayana ideal actions with those sentient beings, and that to see, for example, our family members as kind, mother, sentient beings, and that here, due to the law of cause and effect, we have this relationship in this life, and that I will do my best to be able to be a benefit to them, and through this act of generosity now, may it prove to be the springboard to being able to benefit all sentient beings in the future. That the act of giving something material now to this particular person or these particular people, may it prove to be the cause that I may be able to give material gifts or goods to all sentient beings in the future. May it ultimately be proved to be the cause to be able to give the gift of Dharma to all sentient beings in the future.
What did it? What did it? Tarnish is also better. Narazo Mizina can Mangu take it. Something Naya Yore, and something and it's better Lega short to it. Takan Mango Yugura, can Mango Yugura that day. That again goes to the leather Jawat in the Yore. Then he is a Lamja. Because of the ticket, Yamla Pachan, Tata, and Alakan, Juan Nashi, Nachugo Martin, and Jugo Mangu Yore. The attack led Yabak Sabakanka, and yet the Kochova show. Oh, yet the Kochova show. And in Nasa, Nan Pen Nasa than a Matawa in a Kabamindu. Near Nasa ticket, Simje Shengi, and the Len Yabasawa, the data, yet the Kochova show. Now I need to go to Shiva to get Negamitu, some of the rest of my Yina, so Lapchabo Soto. Yina did a Yamdo, Mea Saure, and the can set up Karinati, because of the Takata set up again, Tapsi, and got the Takaka did a 2x. Some little tone, what that in the Samu Tawayina, Rangi Kange, the Shuksabo Maiba, Yomu Magiva, and a Dilat and a tall Lapchabo Satuye, and a Rangi Kange, and a Digi Gula to each. What the Diga was a page down to watch it.
And so it's very obvious that we can encounter many problems in life, such as, we can lose our job or any other problems that we have, and that with many others who we know in our lives have also similar problems, and that we should recognize immediately that we have a karmic connection with them, to understand us, to be cognizant of this, and that brings with it, for our mind training, a sense of responsibility as well. This is very, very important for us, that we can then engage in the mind training of taking on the suffering that the others are experiencing because of the misfortunes that they are experiencing, and that the negative karma that led to their illness or their misfortune, that I take it on, may it ripen upon me now, and that we should really do this as sincerely as we possibly can, that if I were to even die because of this, so be it. I'll take on regardless of what the consequences are for me. And that here, of course, at the same time, if we are feeling sick ourselves, that we need to take medicine, and we need to adjust our diet or whatever other alterations we need to make to gain a full recovery. So we look after the body, but mentally we are engaging in this mind training activity to say, whatever needs to be done, may it ripen upon me, so that all other sentient beings who are suffering similarly may they not have to experience the consequences of these actions. May they be free from that suffering. As a result, that even though we may be in the throes of a sickness or an illness, we will not have the associated problems related to being ill. We will not be allowing the mental afflictions to arise and take hold, and we will be accumulating extremely powerful positive virtue to ripen into happiness in the future. So there's a tremendous benefit in such mind training.
And Sheba Kanga Gaza simply Kanga the Yungumar. Then was a simply Kanga the courage of ranches on the Yonti. Kanga there, you are the inner ranches on the Kanga shook chat and make you so good. Now Kanga don't now like you with the country, Nala Yungu yourself. That Nala the shoot us from the Tobora. Shank to make another Nala me was get the watch of a show, some such and now asking the shook chat Yontu and Rank Kanga Gaza Yoba same thing the la and the chick Munetana. Same because of people and it's give you want to get one. Give you want to get it. But the Casana Casana na shook simple and my give a shook chat and near Mago, what the Kanama was chatting you. And it dilated Narazo because of the Subu to egg, nobody shook for the immune system in the cigar, shook for the shoulder to age. That Timabaja and the Jabata Ninja that the negative some of the Shank to get a watch over the country, some such a director, and Jamba the Ninja shook some Yaki onto, and Subu Soy, nobody shook Chayo, the immune system that put up in Yatu each. Did not think of the setting a ratter we are. I think I was a better than
So again, to understand the kind of dichotomy here at play, if we are very much self-obsessed and really kowtowing to our own self-cherishing attitude, then the whole sort of pathetic why me attitude becomes preeminent. When we are sick, when misfortune befalls us, this kind of just thinking of ourselves and thinking of me all the time is going to exacerbate the problem. It's very clear that this is the case. We make a bad situation worse by self-obsessing about it in that way. Whereas if we have to focus on others at the time, that whatever is occurring for me, may I use that as a way of thinking about the suffering of others, and that may all that suffering ripen upon me now. Whatever happens for me, I don't mind. It's fine. I will take this on gladly because I understand the benefits of it. And there, in that situation, even if one is, really, of course, experiencing a pain and discomfort, yet deep down in the mind there's this sense of relaxation and happiness, and there's a sense of well-being involved in that, because one has taken off the emphasis of the self-cherishing and placed it on really considering the importance of others, and that this has really got scientific backing at this stage, because it's said that when a person is very much self-obsessed, constantly going, why me, and me, that not only does it disrupt their sleep patterns, but it compromises their immune systems. And that whereas a person who is able to respond in adversity with loving kindness and with compassion, and that they are more courageous to accept whatever happens, that this in turn strengthens their immune system.
No, what the that because I'm also the Dunga that the water also sometimes they are younger, sometimes Dunga, but also the music that also the Jordan source that is Junga color, the what Junga Yeba over tea, less some more Saba than Junga. And these are less some more to the south to something and start up chair. And to make you want to tell Yaba Saba chair, and in Yabasa Jumedusan, and a shanky lane Yabasa Taja, and a daughter chair. And the Dewa and a Rala, no one, Dewa did you want to tie your market, some just Tamjela, and the Dewa did you want to show something more chair. Whatever. 좋아 어때 뭐지 어떻게 다가자 되는 대화도 동행이가 랑게 디기 주베 줄라 배주 당도 같이 좋아 디기 주베 줄라 배주 당도 같이 좋아 어떻게
And so here, it's very obvious that life is a series of happinesses and sufferings, and that they kind of come like this constantly. So it really behoves us to be able to treat the happiness and suffering that is our lot with a great deal more skill, such that when we are feeling happy and we have experienced something pleasant, we understand that this is the result of a virtuous or positive karma that we have accumulated. And so the impulse straight away should be to continue accumulating such virtuous karmas, and that when a suffering arises for us, we recognize it to be the result of a negative karma that we have accumulated, and that impulse then is to abandon that kind of activity and to purify those negative imprints that we have on our mind stream. But not only that, when we experience the happiness, that we can also automatically dedicate that so that all sentient beings experience the happiness I am able to experience now. And when we experience suffering, we automatically take on all those who may be experiencing suffering similarly at this time. And I may have ripened upon me now, and I readily take it on. And so by being able to experience both scenarios of happiness and suffering in this way, we guarantee ourselves happiness, because we are using both in order to create the causes of happiness.
미래 미승들 남주승도 남주 데이터 지금 대화도 동네생한테 그 엑스텐드 말이야. 대화도 동네에서 하나는 그 리투베 줄라 하나는 그 리투베 되고 용되게 요인자 아니 뒤좀제 셰베 돈에 아니 대화 두투에 동네 세투에 돌았다 배주 땅고도 아니 어디를 다 되네 이마인자 아니 지금 배나 체디 디기데 체치메 디기 줄라도 체치메 디기데 탑에 디기 줄라 탑에 디기데 탐제 겹에 디기 줄도에 what this 제가 딱원 가서 디자 치게기라 트랜스포메이션 in the single what that 배주 당도 같이 체디 디게 체디랑 저부터 매번 찾을 만 맞지 그 앞에는 디링게 디게 산이게 디게를 줄 산이 디게 준다 제메데 다와 되네 로 되네 맛이 쓰자 디 아니 가서 대교와 치메 디게 줄도에 디 타베 줄라 디 탐제 겹에 줄라 what this 트랜스포메이션 제도가 이나 what 문에 다네겠다 가서 미천이 상마스 찾더라 미천이 상마치
So this is nothing more than recognizing that we are human beings, and that we have as our distinctive quality the quality of intelligence, and that we recognize that instances of happiness and suffering do not arise accidentally, but they have causes, and what's more, they have causes that are harmonious with their result. That this particular moment of happiness has a corresponding virtuous cause, and so on. And so we can look at this with our intelligence and use that knowledge to our benefit. And so here we put that kind of system of knowledge into effect in our lives, to integrate it into our attitude. And this is what brings about a transformation of mind. And that here, for example, we take care of the happinesses and the sufferings that arise on a daily basis, then weekly, monthly, yearly, extending that into past or future lives, and so on, until we effect a total transformation of our attitude, an attitude that is based on the intelligent knowledge as to how the law of cause and effect operates. And this is nothing more, this creates nothing more than a fully qualified human being. This is something for all of us to integrate and to use. And also there is kind of a warning really in that, you know, we can have the presentation, the layout of a path to liberation and the omniscient state of enlightenment and be able to talk in lofty terms like this. But we need to be able to, to really make that practically applicable in our everyday, from day-to-day life. In other words, to see how the very distant goals of liberation and enlightenment, how they need to be attained in our day-to-day existence, our day-to-day lives. And it's very, very important that we maintain an honest connection between those two, because otherwise it really makes a mockery of our aspirations, our words that we use to do whatever we can to attain liberation and the omniscient state of enlightenment and so on. That doing must take place in a day-to-day basis.
ni kuwa de gewa juk to na ane chiga laga ge chiwe dunge junga ka le ane digi juk to echi di junga ina ane gewa chima gewa sambole da ta chobara da guarantee de da 단단 거서 가서 란젠제 슉 쳐다와 전에 가리 좋아이나 니람 춘제는 란젠제 공배도 줘야 줄때 니람 춘제는 너무 귤을 줘야 좋은데도 봐 그래서는 뒤쪽도 먼저 니메고 먼저 삼로 단다 딱딱 매봐서 니람 걸래 란젠제 슉 좀 용되지 아니 뒤에다 치가 나갈 용거를 다 줘버려 이게 좀 맞고
And so we make the aspirations in the morning that whatever arises today, I will use it as a way to enhance the power of my love and compassion for all sentient beings. And that's here to be able to integrate that as part and parcel of our lives, our waking lives. And that it can become so ubiquitous in our thinking that even it arises in our sleeping time, that we are using our sleep to accumulate the virtue to enhance our love and compassion. And that the good thing about this is that at the point of death, when it becomes more crucial, that we will have the minds of loving kindness and compassion arising to the fore. And that really guarantees us a positive future life. But the contrast to that is that we really allow the self-cherishing mind to maintain its dominance over our thinking. And that, of course, leads to the generation of mental affliction. That will be what informs our dreaming time, our sleeping time. And you can be assured that at the time of death, it is then a mental affliction that will arise, and then it's a very sad future for us. And so now that we are healthy, that we are conscious, it's the time to make these preparations, and that if we are sincere in that, and then there's nothing that we cannot do.
단다 먼저 미리 가제 주름부 다음마다 하고마다 우마다네 야태 이메 하고 해매겠다. 단다 먼저 플랜만 붙이 그래. 자신만 붙이 그래. 이제 자신이 갖고 해.
So now we are human beings, but how long we have in this life, we cannot say. One day, the breath will exhale and we will not inhale again. And that's it. That's the end of it. Mind you, we're very good at making long plans. We're forever making plans for the future, but whether we will be able to actually, fulfill those plans is another question.
shopping shopping
and so, as I say many times, we can make all these plans. We go out and we go to the shopping center, get our shopping, fill the fridge. But whether we'll actually be alive to use everything that we put in the fridge is something we cannot say. It's not for us to say. So somebody else will come, but we may not.
And shopping masak mana shito yungudwa mishaba some another people yungudwa and ngarazo did about yomarwa.
Yes, so yes, this there are countless instances of this happening to other people, that they have got all the shopping but they have left it all in the fridge and died in the meantime. But there is no reason why this is not going to happen or cannot happen to us too.
다 된대 임바 연자 다 치외 qabla 다 치와냐 봐 남진님에 치외체 다 가리 편도 그래서나 아니 소속에 아니 저기 레스 상보체 사도나 레스 상보면서 다 개와지 줍도나 뒤 편도 그와 다 개와서도 아니 다 편바시 로아 다까지 시나 편발라서 같이 개와지 줍도나 다뒤 편거름도 시 가야 편도 오면 좋아 가야 편도 오면 다 뒤편도 랑기 루기 팽게 말해 규자라기 팽게 말해 조금 먹고이나 뒤에 편도고 말해 다 가리 편도 그래서 소소 레상 뭐 싶사요나 레디 니베기 깨와서 뭐 이제 되게 양고 용도 해 그러면 가 용도 말해.
So therefore, at the time of death, the time death is definite, the time of death is indefinite, and at the time of death, the only thing that will be of benefit to us is the virtuous karmas that we have become accustomed to. This is very, very poignant, and that at the time of death, our body is of no good to us. Our possessions are useless to us. Our friends and relatives can be of no help. It's only the virtue that we have become habituated to that will come to the fore at the time of death, and that's what is of benefit to us. So there's a sense of needing to be careful now then in how we are living our lives, how we are preparing for that inevitable point of death. And so we need to understand, yes, as we pointed out at the beginning, we are human beings. We want happiness, we want to avoid suffering, and we understand that we engage in spiritual practice in order to establish the former happiness and to eradicate the latter suffering. And that we want to lead a meaningful life, and this is it.
코나 내 친제 아니 현재의 사도 미게다 란제의 개체부터 아니 현재의 란제니도 뭔가를 와 진짜 란제의 숙청부 요번에 현재의 아니 내두고 말해 개두고 말해 왔는데서 사도 미게시 개자 아니 직계 갑도 갔다서 개와 이내 아니 균투마도 와요 개자 균투 뮤투 두배 아니 란제 가서 란 아서 제발 손에 현 야와도로 미게바 랑예도 돈에 현재와 순대 현재 동해다 디바 탐자 다기에서 규정도 라 대다기에서 다기에서 안데 가서 대게다 대화도 다스 그 디기 그들 요마다 소소사도 개와그 탐자 아니 현라다네 아니 현심제 탐제 동해다 제제 대화 푸소소바 대화 시가 다기 자오 대다전에 발라말에 징글라도 소소 어디 소도
And so, continuing these examples then of how to behave, here we have in a worldly sense a king who is not completely obsessed with fulfilling his own purpose, but rather takes the well-being of his citizens as the main purpose of his power. And then he's considered to be a valid ruler, a legitimate ruler, and as such will be praised and celebrated by those who are, right-thinking, who are genuine people, whereas those who are working solely for their own benefit will not speak directly to the king, but behind his back they will criticize and scorn and disparage him. And it's saying here that as long as we have this self-cherishing nexus in our system, there's no way that the mind which cherishes others can arise freshly. And so therefore, we need to look at, he said even if it does arise, the mind cherishing others, it will not last long. It will be very quickly dissipated. And so here then we need to look at the attitudes of self-cherishing and the attitudes where we disregard the importance of others and completely not allow those attitudes to arise, but rather displace them with the attitude that disregards our own importance and really cherishes the other. And so in this way we can take on in our own mind stream all of the negativities and sufferings of others and dedicate to them all our happiness and virtue. And so in this way we can ensure that sentient beings can be separated from suffering and endowed with abundant happiness. And we make this prayer, O Guru Deity, please bless me to be able to make this so and make our supplications accordingly.
다 같이 저 동해 레온도 다 같이 담보 란에 점수도 소수게 빼나 차차바이나 빼나 차차바이나 아니 저기 그래서 란게 빼나 저기 도공권 빼나 빼서 도공고 요에 동해데 아니 단다 출래 아니 파 개와다는 안 동공 파도 동공 아니 디기 요에 아니 산이기 동해 출래 아 봐자 아니 되나 두다디 되나 아니 가 다와디 되나 로티 되나 마시 신저가 동해 그 출요네 아니 저와판에 아니 마치 순절아 디기 요야 파타야 다 랑기 어디에 슬로콤 되네 검네 아니 파치도 아니 셰심절 아니 랑기 파마 도보 비비자 어디에 그 아니 되네 파치도 아니 가서 밤에sem제 되네 랑다 디고 메게 되네 타이바 마게 셈제 탐제게 동에 가가 출래 아니 랑제제디가 내가 차수 삼사체 야 파다네 아니 대다게 내가 그 함이 공반에 저는 다도 타바다 탐지 기회 봐도 아니 굉장히 그래서 그걸 봤다. 안 되다 문에 거는 중 삼사제. 어떻게 저 답변은 야와 이다 되죠. 다들 제주서 동에 출래는 파티기 봤다 해. 어떻게 아니 가슴제 탐지게 아니 란제도 다지 바차도 잡아 출래. 아 란게 란제 다지 바차 잡아 매바 차수 삼사제. 야 란게 교수도 사회 계속 파탄도 아니 대달 탐지게 아니 지금 뭐도 공반에 저는 아니 대바 계획신이의 제 tunge네 저는 아니 개조 자세 양다가 따와네 저 타바 탐지 기본 아니 튼게 말로 사케게 용서 저 중소상 어디에 삼로탄 어디까지 어디를 전 다 데레전에 란전전데 슉촌도 촌다 셴전전도 아니 슉체도 아니 저가서다 저기 아니 문에 원다다 셴전저 타치고 용하게 어디를 다 검지 때 무슨 뭐라 어디래.
So that we can begin the practice using the taking and giving technique, and here even in our breathing process to begin focusing on ourselves and just focusing within the context of one evening to to send out all of our negativity and self-cherishing, and to take on all benefit and virtue and so on for our own experience, and increase that to the tomorrow and the next day and onwards to beginningless time and until we attain enlightenment and so on. And when we become comfortable with the inhaling and exhaling in that way, we can simply extend it beyond ourselves to other sentient beings. Beginning with those who are close to us, our parents, friends, relatives, and so on. And here, again, sending out through the exhaling all of what's virtuous, the roots of virtue, benefits to all sentient beings, and then inhaling from them all their unhappiness, all their negativity, all their self-cherishing, with the imprints as well. And in this way, have the sense that it is actually destroying the self-cherishing that we have within ourselves and its imprints. Again, extending that again further when we're comfortable to sentient beings, focusing on sentient beings who are neutral, operating in the same way, and then sentient beings who we regard who fall under the category of enemy, or those who we dislike. Again, sending out everything beneficial to them, all of what we can offer to them in terms of happiness and virtue, and then taking all of what causes discomfort and suffering for them, especially self-cherishing and its influence. And again, that serves to really destroy our own mind of self-cherishing along with its influence. And so we continue that practice to embrace all sentient beings ultimately, and doing the same practice, and then including, for example, the beings in the celestial realms, the asura realms, the hell realms, the hungry ghost realms, the animal realms, etc., and including all of that, we focus on sending the best of what we have, everything that we have can give, to bring them happiness, to separate them from suffering, and we inhale all of what they find discomforting and negative in terms of self-cherishing, and that serves to really harm our own self-cherishing. So in this way, we engage in a practice that at its heart is reducing the influence of our own self-cherishing and increasing the influence of our attitude which cherishes others.
그래서 네가 가도라 란체제 나티 요마데 딜레테미 아니 델레온도 란체제 배 매바 차송 삼사서 다 셴체제면도 매서 아니 랑이 계자가 대몬 하다 어디를 쳤다 이제 어디를 쳤다 딱 이제 지금 란체제도 카데 짜네 어디를 카데 짜 아니 셴체제 공부해도 줘요 어디를 쳐 아니 되네 다 고로 공부하셔서 아니 랑게 다 먼저 가자보다 대고 있는 우당 되기로 아니 우마당도 아니 계산 파타 우야는데 아 가서도 다 신게 다 미드베 동에 탐자 하도도 란체 다서 빠자잡아 출네 랑이 네가 가도 란체 때 공부 뒤가는 팀원도 란체 좀 매버자 다 셴체 좀 매버자 야 우파다도 랑이 계산다 탐자 아니 대다 동네세네 대조 걸릴 때네 전에 아니 딱 가제 아니 장년주 자세 양답에 따보다 다 가제 타바 탐제 캠보보다 튼제 말려봐 데라 중소 삼사 어디네 아니 데네 전 우당자 건가 아니 가서도 가서 란첸징 카테 자에데 셴진즈 공부해도 줘야 아니 교를 배주 당도이지 어디죠.
And so it's really taking on the suffering of all other sentient beings in this way, and through the inhaling of the breath, is to really allow it to really center on our own self-cherishing mind, and to really feel that this is completely eradicating our self-cherishing, our holding ourselves to be so preeminent and important. And that automatically frees our mindset to focus on benefiting others, on cherishing others. And so this is, again, using the practice of breathing, simple practice of breathing, to do everything to increase our mind of cherishing others and reduce the influence of our own self-cherishing. And then breathing out all of our own root virtues to be able to benefit all sentient beings in whatever circumstances they are in. And this, the virtue that, the breathing in all of their negativity and self-cherishing in order to completely dissolve into and dissolve our own self-cherishing. And so using all of this way to the happiness that comes from taking a precious human rebirth, or the bliss of liberation and the ultimate bliss of enlightenment and so on, we can send out even into a future virtue in our breathing like this, and use the very simple practice of inhaling and exhaling to develop this twin purpose of destroying our self-cherishing and perfecting our mind which cherishes others. And it's good, and then this making our life meaningful this way is kind of guaranteed for us until our final breath, until we die.
가서다 라지즈 바자의 저바의 현실에서 타치바 용에게 아니 가서 개개 탐제시 튼제 말려와 참네 아니 저 가서다 또 투배하고 투교를 예배 아니 현실에 năng现제 알아서 심지 탐제교를 계속 삼삼하듯이.
And so then by really reflecting on the faults of self-cherishing and the benefits, the peerless benefits of cherishing others, and we dedicate all of our root virtues, or whatever they are, for the benefit of all others, and we take on all of the negativities of others so that it destroys our self-cherishing along with its imprints. And we make this supplication to the Guru deity on our crown, that to please bless us to be able to make this so, and that as a result of this, 그래서 현탁견나 가서도
바자죠. 다까지 어디든지 다까지 란제제 다 바자의 제바자 현재제 아니 바자 가서다 용수 좋네. 아니 지금 심지 탐제가 또 배면으로 주도 용화 아니 다기 지금 대대전도 또 라마샤제스 그 징글랍도 소스 아니 또 배꿀에 두세나가 요새 저 통함 디바데 케바도 아니 현재제 타치바 용에게 바자의 제바 가서 개개 바자의 바자 가서 개개 탐제 시춘제 말로 창소서 또 투병도 투기를 요반나 신게 안에 안지 가서도 다 현재제 비다고저 라시스제 탐제 교리 계속 상상을 되죠.
And so we make this powerful supplication to the Guru deity on our crown, and as a result of this, then the Guru deity sends out the 5-colored nectar lights which dissolve into us, and that they effectively really eradicate all of our negativities and obscurations since beginning this time, but in particular all of the obstacles to our, on the one hand, overcoming our self-cherishing attitude and eradicating it along with its imprints, and to cultivating to its perfection the mind which is cherishing others, and that we feel that we can have really received this powerful blessing and to be able to achieve both of these goals effortlessly and spontaneously. So let's leave it there for today. So then we create the 8-petaled upturned lotus, sun and moon disc at our own heart center and make the invitation to the Guru deity to come to our heart and remain there. And with the prayer, O glorious and precious Root Guru, come take your lotus and moon seed placed here at my heart, keep me safe in your kindness, bestow on me the attainments of your body, speech and mind. After that first recitation, the figure on our crown begins the journey down through our central channel. At the completion of the second recitation, arrives at the seat at our heart center, and at the conclusion of the third recitation, a certainty arises in our minds that the Buddha will remain with us until we attain the state of enlightenment. And so then the upturned petals of the lotus fold over to enfold the figure of the Buddha, and that is sealed at the top with a 5-pronged white vajra, and then encircled by the mantra, or the name mantra of Shakyamuni Buddha, or Muni Muni Mahamuni Soha, in a clockwise direction, the mantra of wisdom of Manjushri, Amarapasanadi, DDDDD, and in an anti-clockwise direction, and in the mantra of dependent origination, again in a clockwise direction. And then, that we really have, then the figure from within sends out countless rays of light through the lotus petals to pervade every cell of our bodies, from the crown of our heads to the soles of our feet, and thereby really purifying all negativities and obscurations since the beginning of time, all any defects or illnesses of mind, of speech, of body, of the 4 elements, that they are all balanced, and that they channels, winds and drops in our subtle body are rendered pliant. And so, in other words, they have all the conducive conditions to be engaged in perfect practice. In particular, that we are relieved of the main obstacle to being able to attain a state of enlightenment quickly, and that is the view of ordinary appearance, and that is substituted for being able to see ourselves, our bodies, and all our objects with a pure appearance. And that even though we are engaging in this now with a mind of simply mental aspiration in our own imagination, but we are laying down these imprints, and that it may happen for real quite quickly.
And then also the shit to look in the language. And the Lama Shaja say a good Henji again, so the Lama Shaja say a good to some such. So the same then, she to tell us the Lama Shaja sing to the Henji again, and also the Lama Shaja sing to the Rang Lu, Na, Yesum, Lama Shaja say Kusum to the war Yeme Chasu, near there, and the Lama Shaja singing, share and order question.
And then through the combination of our own more subtle wind acting as the substantial cause, with the body of the Buddha acting as the cooperative conditions, our own body transforms into the enlightened body of the Buddha. Then through the combination of our own most subtle mind acting as the substantial cause, together with the mind of the Buddha acting as the cooperative conditions, our own mind transforms into the enlightened mind of the Buddha. And thereby, our own body, speech, and mind are now inseparable from the body, speech, and mind of an enlightened being. I'm sorry, and the place in which we are is similarly like the Buddha's an enlightened palatial mansion. And we can stop and pause to rejoice that the goal I have to attain enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings has been achieved today.
And the subject Tandana was said to be, and the subject that Tamjala was said that Tamja Timbalatena, and the Deda Tamja and Casa the Takaja, Tomashaja to Kusuto or Yemi Chaso. Near Deda Tamja and the Tomashaja to be shared how to do some such.
And then, seeing ourselves as a fully enlightened being, we send out countless rays of light equal in number to all the sentient beings and in all the different realms of existence, and that in dissolving into them, they spontaneously arise as fully enlightened beings, and the places in which they are transformed into pure realms. Again, we rejoice in saying that now I have fulfilled my purpose of leading all sentient beings to enlightenment. How wonderful that is. And so we make a dedication here to understand that yes, now I am operating on the level of imagination, of aspiration, of just thinking these things, but that they may quickly become real and manifest. And that the sentient beings that we are leading, the state to which we are leading them, I as the agent leading them, that we are all empty of inherent existence and merely imputed by thought. And then from that emptiness arises bliss, and is then combined with voidness, and we abide in the wisdom of non-dual bliss and voidness.
다다다 먼저 내가 대대들 다가스는 정말 대인에 다간제 매바 이제 그래대 이내야 매바 이제 쪽에 제제제제제제는 간상선에 아니 저 문에 거야 대대 뚝뚝에다 규칙 뚝뚝으로 어때?
And so yes, of course we are operating at the level of imagination here, of aspiration, but that we can continue with this process of operating at this level, and we will slowly accumulate the causes to make it actually real at some point in the future. And so we do our Lamrim dedication prayer on page 28, 29. From my two collections, vast space that I have amassed, from working with effort this practice for a great length of time, May I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds' wisdom is blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I behold in your loving compassion for all lives Manjushri. May I find the best of completed graded paths of the teachings, and may I please all of the Buddhas by my practice. Using skillful means drawn by the strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings with the points of the path that I have discerned. May I uphold Buddha's teachings for a very long time. With my heart going out with great compassion, in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread, or once spread have declined, may I reveal the treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted boundless peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time. By even this graded path to enlightenment completed, due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their children. May all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity, create conducive conditions for practicing the excellent paths, will never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtuous practices, may they always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere. You are a great treasure of compassion, our aim to true existence, and Manjushri, master of law's wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroyer of hordes of demons without exception. Sankapa, crown, jewel, of the sages of the others, blessings at your feet, I make requests.